I'm Jennifer Newman, and this week at our Pages for the Ages tutorial, we're talking about how to honor the people we love through scrapbooking. This episode is dedicated to my Aunt Ruth, who this month is celebrating her 10th year of being cancer-free. I'm wearing this breast cancer awareness pin in honor of her, and when we get back, I'll show you how to incorporate paper awareness ribbons into your scrapbook layouts. Scrapbooking is the best way to capture memories and make them last a lifetime. But how do you get started without spending a fortune? Pages for the Ages is here to help you out. In recent years, awareness ribbons have become all the rage. Back in 2004, we saw them popping up all over the place when it became a trend for Americans to have Support Our Troop magnet ribbons on their cars. Now, these ribbons are always associated with some sort of cause. For instance, yellow is Support Our Troops, pink, breast cancer, red, AIDS. There are many more out there. Now, when we see these ribbons and think about them, it brings to mind people who have had to be brave and suffer through some sort of adversity. Now, as a scrapbooker, what a better way to honor that person than by creating a scrapbook page or a scrapbook album dedicated to that person. That's what I've been doing here today. I've been working on this page for my Aunt Ruth. And I'm going to bring you a little closer to show you what I've been creating so far, and then give you the simplest way to create a paper ribbon embellishment. Here is the scrapbook layout I've created for my Aunt Ruth, as I mentioned, who is a cancer survivor. These pictures were taken recently from a Walk for the Cure event that she and her husband Steve went to, so I wanted to display them on this scrapbook page, which I'm making for her. The photos, this one is a 4x6 and this is a 2.5 by 3.5 inch. I also have a 4x4 inch journaling box, and this is all displayed on a 12 by 12 inch page. I actually made one additional copy of this layout, and it's available for sale in my Artfire store as of today. At the bottom, I created my own embellishments by writing "Live Strong, Love, Hope." Now, the one last thing I have to do on this page is I would like to put a ribbon embellishment down here in the corner, one that looks similar to the pin that I own. Now, I could go out and buy ribbon to place in that corner, which would be fine, but as you've noticed, I tend to be a strictly paper scrapbooker. That's just the medium that I enjoy using. Also, you may not be interested in making that extra trip to the store, so I'm going to show you the easiest way to create a paper ribbon embellishment. These are the supplies you will need for this project. When I first began playing with creating a paper ribbon, my first method was to create a stencil. I made this stencil freehand by just pretty much looking at this product here and trying to make it look the same. I wasn't too satisfied with the end result, however. Since I cut this freehand, it's not as neat as I would like it to be. I feel like the dimensions are a little off. So then I decided to try a different method, especially since this method took a lot of time and I wasn't satisfied with the end result. So what I started to do was play with strips of paper, and the end result that we're going to come up with is this ribbon right here on the layout, which is in my shop. First thing you need to do is pretty much find a sheet of paper that is 12 inches long by 1 inch high. Now, if we want to do this properly, it needs to be the same color on both sides. If you don't have the same color on both sides, what will happen is you will get this result. It'll be yellow on one side, white on the other. And of course, if it's ribbon, you want it to be continually the same color. So that's why it's important that your cardstock is the same color on both sides. Now, if you want to do this easily and not spend a lot of time on it, all you have to do is take your strip of paper and take the ends, fold them in toward each other, and press down. Now, what I don't like about this is that it has a flat top. It kind of looks like ribbon, but it doesn't really resemble the pin, which has the arc on top. So to get that arc, we're going to have to take a few more steps. And we start off by finding our piece of paper. I am going to use this hot pink cardstock, textured cardstock Brights, which I got at Hobby Lobby. Okay, to start off with, I need a straight edge of the paper. I'm going to mark 1 inch across very lightly with my pencil. The next step, I need to find the middle mark, which would be 6 inches. So from that 1 inch width, mark 6 inches. Next, I want to mark 1 inch on either side of the center. That would be 7 inches and 5 inches. Make sure you're using a pencil to make those markings. The next thing we need to do is accommodate for this circular curve. And in order to do that, I'm going to use an oval cutter. This is from Creative Memories system. I'm going to use the smallest one, and I'm going to line it up with those two 1 inch marks. Once I have it pretty well lined up, there we go. So now the dot is there and there, right on the edge. I'm going to use the Creative Memories cutting system, the red one, which is the smallest. It cuts closest to the shape. And I'm going to carefully just cut up here on the top, right to those two markings that I made. Now, I'm going to erase my pencil markings and cut the strip. Now when I use my paper trimmer here, I can't cut all the way down or I will lose the bump that I just made, so I have to cut halfway down. I'm lined up with my 1 inch mark. Oops, there we go. Halfway down. Flip the paper over and go halfway down. And I'll finish up the rest with scissors. Alright, it is free. Now I'm going to take this strip of odd paper with the hump up, bring the two tabs in. Now you want to find a good point at which you think these ends look lined up, and it's lined up here. Take a piece of adhesive and stick that down and flatten it out. We're getting close. Alright, the next step, we want to cut out this part right here, and you can use your trimmer for that again. Take your trimmer and carefully line it up. I'm actually going to make a little trim by hand. It's not quite lined up here like I want it to be. That usually happens, so you just have to kind of carefully make an adjustment for that. Perfect. Now I use my cutter to cut out the middle part here. I have to be very careful only to cut that back part, the hump that we made.
If you've enjoyed this tutorial today, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to check out our website at pagesfortheages.com. I'm Jennifer Newman. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again soon.